to black ice in 2026. Germany, August 1942. The summer is almost over. We have one more month of rounding things out, but basically the better part of the summer is gone. Let's start with the Navy. This year we lost 54 submarines. That's huge. But last month only one. So there was a huge upswing during early summer. I think we lost only 30 submarines earlier, older it says here. We keep sinking not that many convoys. I don't know. We're not losing a lot of convoys, 91 convoys this year. So anyway, as you can see here, we're sinking a lot. I'm pretty sure these are US convoys. I'm not going to check them all. Okay, no, Commonwealth ones. How many submarines do we have? No. Can you see that? 125 and 23 coastal. So below 150. I think I've been higher on submarines, but I'm building more. And the navies keep popping out. Like, why don't you want... I try to keep 5 submarines in one wolf pack, and for some reason, you know, I want them to leave the squadron to repair, not just sit there as a reserve when they're full health. It's very annoying. So I'm considering removing the disable split off for my entire navies, but you know, it's hard to automate the submarine or naval actions for me. It really doesn't work, but I don't know the naval game very well. See, another one, almost. Okay, maybe this one is on the way to repair. That's fine. That's fine. This one, 100%, still dislodging from its fleet. Annoying. I'm not gonna jump on. So today we're gonna talk about. We're not gonna play. No gameplay. Other videos for you. Please leave. This is not interesting. I'm just gonna have a screenshot today. 1st of August. We're gonna talk about what happened during the summer and the German Army, Navy, Air Force in Black Ice. So that was the Navy. Let's do the Air Force. I recently researched the second last German Messerschmitt 109 fighter called G14. I don't think I've ever done that. Beware for you late 42 when you reach this. This one cost 4 instead of 3 engine production capacity. So I thought I was crazy. I was on a bit of a surplus, and then I dropped down to below 60. And I was like, why is that? All my resources are in the positive, or at least they were back then. Now I'm lacking rubber. But anyways, I had to drop down around 10% on my fighter production and do some shuffling around because when I reached the G14 1943 model. I suppose, can you see the cost of this one? This one costs 4 engines as well. So I'm not sure I ever done this, and if I had that engine shock, because if you have 70 factories producing the previous fighter and you just upgrade them, you lose 70 engines production capacity there. But other than that, my Air Force is doing fine. There's over Iraq and Iran, there's a bit of opposition, but the Russian Air Force is not very strong. I don't get a lot of bombing in Western Europe. I'm building up a bit of anti-air. I'm over 8,000 airplanes. So my Luftwaffe is very strong. And the fighting here, I have 2,400 fighters chasing down the 1,000 or so Russian airplanes. It's not that easy to fight because of airbase situation here. Obviously, I'm not going to build up any air bases in this area. I don't have the industry to support that. So Air Force is doing great. Army, so let's start in the Mediterranean. We started off, I can't remember exactly where we quit the last report, but I think I did a cleaning up operation of southern Egypt, and I killed more or less everything here. I think I killed everything here, maybe 10 divisions or something. Now they're back. Because after that I went up, I cleared out the Sinai Peninsula, I cleared out Palestine, and in this version of Black Ice, I've never seen this before, Lebanon and Damascus are actually still neutral Vichy colonies. So they're not in the war. Usually you have to clean this out as well, clean up. Then we cleared out the Jordan mountain range here, and I sent one tropical desert light tank division off towards Iraq, and I cut off a little bit. I took out the supply hub and I took out a few divisions here. Then I sent them all the way back down here, and now I'm setting up to start encircling and killing off Commonwealth troops as well. I also changed, I should have done this earlier, but I invited my Axis miners, so we see Hungarians and Romanians now defending this troubles, because I was too weak here. The UK and the USA has been pushing a lot here, and supply is atrocious, of course, and I can't turn off my... but anyways, it's holding off on better now with all the Axis miners helping me to support. I got 2 new divisions, red, nice arrow. Obviously they're assault engineers, whatever they're called, like Sturmpioneer. And I gave them old medium artillery so that I get the maximum. And they're only 163 soft attack, but it's gonna be better with more modern medium artillery. I haven't built that the entire war. I'm gonna start doing that now. Basically, it's just a little bit of fun. I shuffled around a couple of field marshals so that their traits and skills, defensive, offensive, suits their theater better. So I'm fully defensive on the eastern flank towards India and Russia, but I'm planning to be a bit offensive here. I know with the supply map over mode it's hard to see what's going on, but I'm hoping to be strong enough to clear out these 3 ports down here. In case I do that, I think everything here is going to be out of supply and wither on the vine and die, because I really don't have a lot of forces here. I have a couple of motorized brigades and 1 mixed Panzer Brown 11th Panzer Division, which has a mix of infantry tanks, heavy tanks, cavalry tanks. And this is the division I used to just, not tankettes, but I threw all the foreign German equipment stuff captured from early war into this one, and I let them bleed in the desert here, so at least I have 1. And I have 2 desert light tank divisions over here because I needed to block off a push towards Tehran, the capital. Can't lose that. But they can't dislodge me from these northern mountains here with these super strong. Check the experience of these guys. Look, they're all super experienced because they're sitting up here eating up Soviet offensive power. But I don't have the PP for upgrading the medals yet. So I'm holding on here, and finally we have around 5-6 regular infantry divisions that were brigades that I upgraded, and they've been training all summer to get to full train status, and now they can relieve these stupid ill-equipped garrison regiments that I rushed down here when Iran was joined the Axis faction. So this hasn't been a wonderful theater, not that successful, but at least I'm holding a large area. This is basically the entire US-UK land war effort, because we don't have a torch operation invasion yet. Yeah, we've seen a couple of garrison regiments trying to, sneak attack here in the west. So let's talk about the west then. Yeah, they got now their own shitty Austrian field marshal. He's really a supply guy, but that's only a field marshal I have right now. And we have like a full 24 regiments, brigades. Yeah, it's better than nothing. It works on a coastal province. And we have a couple of Slovakian and Croatian. The Slovakian divisions aren't that bad. They're not as good as the German one, but they're better. The Slovakian stuff is horrible. And then I have 3 elite divisions that's sitting on the major ports that I'm gonna do something with. Give them medals and upgrade heavy tanks, whatever, heavy tank destroyers. Late war Western defensive stuff, but not now. So yeah, we have 1 garrison regiment on each port in Norway. So for 1942 summer, obviously I held out there. Okay, Eastern Front. Did a minor push in the south. I worked my way along this railway from Astrakhan. Where is it? Oh, here it is. This minor railway from Astrakhan up towards that city, Aturayu. I want to reach this supply depot here and have the Russians sitting out of supply and bleed. But I am, of course, losing a lot of motorized equipment. I sent in my, first SS motorized corps, or whatever you want to call it. So the supply is horrible here, even though I have so I'm not sure this was worth it really. I have a few trucks to spare. I'm more strained on tanks, to be honest. So I'm not using tanks over here because I don't want to lose attrition. Oh yeah, we're gonna come to attrition and equipment losses. We're gonna do an analysis of black ice a bit later. Remind me of that. Center, main offensive, case blue. Instead of the push from historically, the Soviets made a winter offensive through Kharkov and onto the Ukrainian plains. The Germans counteroffensive. I think Manstein made his backhand blow counteroffensive during spring 1942. And that opened up for the Case Blue offensive towards Stalingrad that everyone knows about, and also the push down into the southern Russia, which reached to like Mostok around here. I don't think did they reach Grozny as far? They did get Maikop, but they didn't get any oil out of it. I don't think they reached as far as Grozny, but they were pretty far up there. And then they reached the gates of Stalingrad and fought there. We all know that story. But my 1942 spring offensive went from Tula down to Voronezh. Talked about that in last, and I made some encirclements along the Volga River. And then I pushed out onto the fields steps, and I captured this Saratov supply hub. And from there, the next thing I did was push south and north from Stalingrad, and I made a bunch of pockets here. And then I made a rush up to this supply depot out in the northern fields, south of Saransk here. And from there, I made encirclements, and then I made the last push up all the way up there to Gorky. And I have basically all my medium tank divisions, and we are going to talk about their loss ratios and capture ratios and stuff like that. And now, after I captured Gorky, this is why I'm ending the summer recapture a little bit earlier than the weather allows, because if I'm able to make a huge another last huge encirclement here, that's going to be a very successful summer offensive. And I can't remember, was it 4.5 million? Now we're up to 7 million. Yeah, I killed a lot of Soviet troops. I do think I read on the Black Ice Discord or somewhere, forums, maybe on the workshop on Steam, that the Soviets have like 15 million manpower or something. I have not popped over and cheated and changed tag to the Soviets. You want to do that? Let me know in the comments. We can do it next time. I really don't care. It's just an infinite manpower and equipment for the AI in Black Ice. That's how I treat it. And it's been sitting still. I know the Finnish, they've been pushing a little bit up here towards Petrasodovsk. But I'm actually sitting behind my Axis miners and letting them lead their manpower and not doing anything. So the entire northern front has been real quiet. And I finished my level 5 railroad more or less down to Rostov. Well, maybe not quite. So now I'm completing on some smaller railroads on the eastern front. This stupid Milervo supply depot, just as I knew, once it's completed, now in August, is gonna be useless. But maybe if I fall back, if I manage to increase the AI difficulty so that I have to defend, this depot could come into play. I'm also upgrading the railroad in southern Iran a bit, because this is just horrible situation down here. Okay. So but when you scroll out on the map and you realize, on the whole, that what I did, I killed a lot of Soviets, that's nice, but I've been fighting in this tiny area. I'm very far away, I feel, from reducing the Soviet Union to a partisan state, puppet them. Whenever I go somewhere, I just run out of steam, I run out of supply. Maybe I should have more exploitation, smaller, faster divisions focused somewhere, and said, screw you with the attrition. I'm just going to push through and just push to the Ural Mountains. I haven't been played as offensively as I did 1941, because I'm kind of trying to preserve equipment and focusing on inflicting losses instead. I do have some of these smaller, faster exploitation divisions. I also had to downgrade a few light tank divisions, because I'm not building that many light tanks, so they're not motorized because I had trucks. And why aren't you... Where's the training army? Oh, here it is. But I am balanced. I'm on the surplus of all tanks, and it's above 6,000. So could we talk a bit about my fuel situation? Almost full. That's good. I'm having a 10% research medicine on stability, so that's good. I did complete a couple of recruitment centers and some housing loss research, so now I'm over 100k troops manpower. I'm over 3 million army. All my stockpiles are in the green, and I'm slowly upgrading to more modern equipment. So, you know, okay, except armor recovery with vehicles. Everything is in the green. But then I checked out the losses, because I want to know how much am I losing. And turns out that, see, I lost like 200. This is the last year. I don't know if we should check the summer, 2 months. Maybe that's... My panzers have been very active the last 2 months. I lost 100 medium assault guns. Okay, so I lost 1,300 medium tanks. This is what I wanted to show you. When I checked, it's like, wow, and only 5 by attrition? That's crazy. That's no attrition. I usually focus a lot on, not durability, but the other stat. Availability? Nope. Come on. Durability. And I'm probably over-exaggerating this, since you don't... When you have the support companies, the maintenance companies, you don't need to upgrade them as much. Okay, so we lost a bunch of German light tanks, 350 of them only during the summer. That is a lot. But as you can see here, the Soviet tank losses, they're huge, 500 tanks, and I haven't captured and lost them in combat. Yet turns out all these Russian losses here are from the 12,000 assault equipment. I haven't lost that. But it must be that the game presents it in black eyes, so that everything you encircle and kill, you cannot capture, and then the game, through some script or magic programming, kills it in your stockpiles. So that means these combat, the manpower losses, look, the last year, 1.47 million, that's not true. Is that Russian manpower that I captured and circled? So I'll show you the medium tank losses. That's a little bit interesting as well. Where are they? Jesus, a search version here would be nice, wouldn't it? You know, I can't find the medium tanks like this and go over to detail list, because then, you know, I end up somewhere else in the scrolling list. So sorry about this. We lost 300 Kubelwagen, 0 attrition. What the hell? I mean, I have been running in areas with low supply. Not maybe totally out of, but low, definitely. Okay, let's find the medium tanks here. Oh. Jesus. I'm sorry about this. Stupid game. Okay, here we go. So apparently I captured and killed like 1,700. Okay, at least 1,000 tanks during the summer. But I have like 50 Soviet medium tanks in my divisions and stockpiles. So of all this, maybe your capture ratio is 2 to 3%, depending. I'll show you. The Panzer 4D has pretty bad reliability. So, oh fuck, see, when you change the time, you scroll away as well. Oh, nice programming. Nice user interface there, Paradox. Thanks a bunch. You can see 43 lost by attrition. So the older starter, lower quality tanks, you lose a lot of those. That would be a tax of over 10%, right? If you just run tanks of this quality, 10% lost in attrition over a whole war, that's a lot of tanks to lose. I mean, 43 is not that bad, but 10% tax. But the newer modern ones, you barely lose anything. So that's great. But anyways, I lost, during the last year, around 1,000 tanks. Now I wish I could go back to summer, 2 months, 3 months. Okay, of course it's gonna jump in the fucking menu. So this summer, what is it? Below 600, a little bit below 600, 550 modern German tanks I lost in combat. But that they inflicted a bunch of losses. So by fighting in low supply, and I guess, okay, so here's another thing. By losing all these attacks, by using my medium tank divisions, by having lower tank forces now, I probably saved a lot of manpower because I haven't been using my infantry in offensive attacking roles. Unless, you know, occasionally, of course, I have to, but I really try to spare my infantry army. So I suppose you build a lot of tanks and you use them in combat because that saves you manpower. I guess that is my reasoning here. But my total stockpiles of medium tanks is it's about the same as at the beginning of the year. It's up to it's below 3,000, a little bit below 3,000. And I managed to build 600 of the new modern long-barreled Panzer IV F2s. That doesn't really matter, but there we are. And yeah, here it is. Here's the Russian. Did you see all those losses? If you take over a year, it's like 1,700 medium T-34 Soviet tanks dead in my loss menu. And this is what I got in my divisions overall, like 50. So I want to show you when you capture material in black ice. If I grab a regular medium tank division, they have 5 army recovery vehicles in their maintenance detachment. That means they pop up to a 4% capture ratio. I really don't know. So when you attack and kill and encircle divisions, they capture 4% or whatever they're killing. I don't know if you mix infantry with tanks. If one infantry division and one tank division attacks, and they both encircle and kill one Soviet division, do you get the 4% tank capture ratio or the 2% that you get from the total base infantry capture ratio? And then you have, I use one scavenger leader, and you have that loot force 1 plus 1%, 1.5% Soviet focus capture ratio. But anyways, so somewhere between 2 and 3%. And if you check these numbers, 1,700 dead Soviet tanks, and I have 50 in my inventory, that turns out to be the average 3% capture ratio of tanks. So I guess the math works. The loss stats, you really have to check the individual tanks and all the Soviet equipment or any equipment, because all the Soviet equipment, they're not your equipment instead. That's the equipment you killed. And I think this is a black ice visual glitch in the game. So that's a bit of deep knowledge for you in black ice. Yeah. So what am I building now? Engine factories, because I had to remove a lot of fighter production to stabilize the engine factory output. I do have a lot of air production capacity available. So with new engine factories, I can build even more airplanes, bombers, I suppose. I'm building a few railroads, some tank factories, because to be honest, I don't need more air force, to be honest. It's just that I have the production capacity. I need more tanks. I don't need more military factories. I am in the green in all my infantry equipment. I don't need more manpower right now. I need more rubber. But it goes from plus 20 to minus 20. It's crazy. So okay, just finish that. Do I need... I even managed to balance the stupid energy consumption here. I suppose I should finish one more. This Rhineland. Pew. Yeah. Okay. And I sacked stupid Halder. He's got a 5 or 6% division attack, which is excellent. But I just figured my medium tank divisions that I'm supposed to use in combat, they're so powerful anyway. 5-6% is gonna matter that much. And I gained, there's a difference of 100 pp, and then I'm gonna give Guderian plus 6 speed maybe speed is more important than attack value. What do you think? Put in the details. Would you upgrade to Heinz Guderian 6% speed extra in 1943 if you had the power, political power, or would you pay 50 political power to keep Halder, which has 6% division attack and also some 3% recovery rate? But anyways, my chief of staff is empty here now. I also learned another thing from ChatGPT, the AI, that the best spirit overview for submarine warfare for Germany is efficient communications, which is fleet coordination 10% and positioning 5%. Submarines, apparently more submarines will enter the combat faster somehow with convoys and kill them more efficiently. ChatGPT is very confident, but right now it lies and hallucinates so much that I have no idea if it's true. But I went with this. If you're a fleet specialist, I would love to hear if this is the best naval spirit to pick for a full-on submarine warfare German playthrough in Black Ice. So I guess, I mean, it is going well, but am I winning the war? Like Japan, they're not pushing. I think actually they lost 1 or 2 provinces here in India. You know, obviously I don't know what's going on. I don't know how the Japanese Navy looks. No idea. I mean, they probably wouldn't release this. This is realistic. Germany wouldn't know anything about it. Italian Navy is gone. It's like under 20 ships, 1 battleship and some. So I don't own the Mediterranean, and all I have in French North Africa is 1 fairly strong paratrooper division sitting here on the airbase, and I have long range. What are they called? Condor transport planes. They have a wait. That's not it. Where? There they are. I think this is enough to move them. Shit. So we have these Focke-Wulf 200 Condor. Range is 1,500 kilometers. So, and this is the closest airbase. There used to be an airbase in Morocco as well. I think they removed it in the last update. So maybe I got a chance to air transport or airdrop it or something. I don't know why. Maybe I should put it next to Casablanca. I would like to reinforce French North Africa. You know what? When I'm replacing these stupid garrison regiments here in eastern Iran with proper infantry divisions that are more suitable to fighting these Soviet suicide troops, you can see they have very low organ, they have very bad supply, but they are constantly suicide attacking. Then I can send those surplus garrison regiments over to Sicily and ship them over to Tunis. I hope to avoid the heavy allied navies in the Mediterranean and try to land them here and kind of beef up with shitty small units. Let's do that, because I don't have to disband them. I'm over 100k now, and I have a little bit more manpower coming in, and we're gonna rest for the next the fall and the winter. When the mud hits, my offensive stops. Where would I like to reach? I would have liked to take Kuibyshev as well this summer. Maybe I can do it August, September, maybe a little bit of warfare in October. Yeah, okay. I have 2 months. After I'm done with this pocket up here, I'm probably gonna change my focus. Either I'll go for Yaroslav, which would mean a bit of forest fighting, but it's closer. Yeah, maybe. And I would have to redeploy. Maybe I can send my maybe I send my tanks up northwards towards Moscow. I have a nice supply up here, and I'll take Yaroslav. And I get this nice river line as a defensive line for the winter. That is probably the best offensive goal. I was checking this supply hub out, but it's very far away. There's forest the entire way. There's a river to cross, and it's, I'm not gonna do that. I might go for Kazan. It's open ground. It's fairly close. There's a week before the Gorky supply hub activates. I'm gonna put it on mechanized motorization level. Yeah, Kuibyshev. Forests, hills, rivers. This looks I never gone here in Black Ice. This looks like painful terrain to traverse. Split my first tank army, or first tank corps under Schweppenberg. I only have 13, and I'm training. I have 14. Maybe I could send 7 and grab 2 objectives during early fall. It would be nice to grab Kubieshev as well. We'll see. It's usually better to focus on one goal and send the proper amount of forces. I know that from the down here, yeah, supply is more the issue than strength. A little bit of both, of course. So that's my plan. So next stream and after action report, when you check it out, if you follow this series, you can see what I decided to do. I probably feel like Yaroslav is the wiser choice. Grab one more Soviet city before the winter. And then you can see we have a naval invasion in northern France and another one in Belgium. But these have not been serious invasions. So that's a lot of talk for only 2 months since we last saw each other in the previous update. But I guess I wanted to deep dive a bit in losses, capture of Soviet equipment, the losses report, my tank build-up. I mean, I am, after all, investing 100 factories into tanks. I think that's a decent amount. I'm sure other players would have had more tank production capacity built up earlier and could flow out. Because my long-term planning is to have as much mechanized forces on the map as possible to stop the bleeding of manpower. That's my overall, army build Black Ice goal for this playthrough. Always is. All right. Anything else you want to know? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't tried Black Ice, go do it now. Tell your friends that play vanilla or another stupid mod to try Black Ice. I want more people to play it, so get a little bit more attention, and the love it deserves. This is almost like a real strategy game, war game, like Gary Grigsby's War in the East. Almost. It's not the arcadey Paradox Heart of Iron 4 vanilla version that you basically can play with the order system and the AI moving around stupidly and not having to micromanage. I mean, you can win Hoi Vanilla for us any nation blindfolded if you know the game a bit. If you enjoy that, fine with you. But if you want to play a proper strategy game, this is the best you can do. And I immensely, as you can tell, enjoy the micromanagement of equipment. I want to dig down into this, and I would want more of this in the game. Because I'm having fun designing and planning and upgrading my equipment and balancing the light tank transference into medium tanks, and then the first heavy tank. I'm way behind on the 88mm tank gun for the Tiger, so not that I'm rushing anywhere to build the meme not very efficient heavy tanks, but of course I want them because it's fun. So about that. That's probably the reason why you should build a bit of a surface navy if you have the time, attention span, and want to put the effort into, because it's more fun. I mean, spamming only submarines and doing what I'm doing, it's not fun. It's probably the best. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it's easy. More fun for me would have been to design large surface cruisers and send them out and see if they sink or not. I built a few, but I never played it long enough to have them actually deploy and go out and hunt convoys for a long period of time in Black Ice. I don't know if it would work. It's probably not the most efficient way. Yeah, did I say I put in a new... I probably didn't say this, but I have George Thomas now, which gives me factory output plus 10%. 5%, sorry. So that gives me even more equipment. Yeah, lots of questions for me. I'm learning more about this mod every time I play it, and I'm having fun. Go sign up on the workshop on Steam. That's where you find the forums and the updates and information and the mod itself, Black Ice, and try it out for yourself. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.